Ahoy there, and who do you be, mate? I'm Cornelius Bosworth, and I'm here to take my exciting pirate adventure. Muffy chose not to go on the swashbuckling cruise because she said you all smelled like a wet torn. Oh, I can't believe these times are so tough we have to give bilge rats like this guy tours. What was that you were saying, good sir? Do speak up. I'm Bloody William, first mate of the Dread Pirate Locke's crew. First off, matey, you paid for the full experience, correct? Aye, aye. Well, that is an appropriate pirate talk, right? Aye. You'll be fitting in faster than a kraken noshing on a rowboat. Ooh, will we see a kraken on the tour? I take it'll just be some tame kraken, right? Oh, Muffy will be so upset if she missed a real live kraken. Maybe not. She's probably buying some souvenirs from the Booty Bay shops you all have. Since you're going to be on our pirate adventure, you'll be receiving that tabard listed in the brochure. Oh, goody. You mean I served on a dread pirate ship and lived to tell the tale tabard? Aye, the very same one. But first, you'll have to learn the ancient art of either swabbing the deck or helping pump out some of the bilge water. Your choice. Oh, splendid, splendid. All my friends back at Sathiril's Haven party will be as green as a goblin's skin with envy. Wait right here for a moment, will ya, bilge rat? Oh, goody, how glorious. I've got my piratey name, Bilge Rat Cornelius. Yar, I say. Yar. Aye, matey. It's me, Bloody William, and... Oh, okay. Sorry, forgot to drop the accent when talking to you, boss. Got another idiot who wants to play pirate for the day.
Great. Just make sure we get the money before we make him walk the plank in the official pirate send-off. I just love seeing them think it's part of the experience.
A sure thing, boss. I'm on it. Yar! Don't you worry, Bilge Rat Corny. You'll be good enough soon to walk the plank. Oh, this is delightful, yet utterly gross down here. Are there supposed to be rats swimming around in this fetid... Oh, and what is it that it's chewing on? It's all part of the authentic pirate experience. Just don't drink the water you'll be bailing, Bilge Rat Corny. I do get to rock the plank, right? Buddy William? Anyone? Hello? Oh... Too many rats. Why did it have to be rats?
Ahoy, avast me hearties. This be episode number 7 of the Hearthstone Tavern Roleplay Podcast. And I be your host, Dread Pirate Locke. This week's show be a special tribute to Pirates Day on September 19th. We have some regular segments from the cast that can help you be more piratey. So kick back, grab your grog, and enjoy the show. The term pirate is broad and refers to several groups of criminals branded as pirates that sail the great sea in search of treasure. The pirates in Azeroth are considered less than clean versions of your sailors. The synonym terms for pirate include freebooter, privateer, corsair, buccaneer, raider, sea king, and so many more. Here are some of the WoW pirates and organizations within Azeroth. The South Sea Freebooters, South Sea Pirates, South Shore Privateer Fleet, Blood Sail Buccaneers, Blackwater Raiders, Defias Brotherhood, the Dread Corsairs, and North Sea Freebooters. WoW has a special celebration on September 19th. There be news in the world that Dread Captain DeMeza and her crew have landed in Booty Bay and declared it Pirates Day. If you are brave enough to share a drink with her, you can be her crew member for a day.
Avast me hearties, I be Dread Pirate Locke, I be leading this crew.
And I be Bloody William Flint. Don't you be messing with the captain.
And I be Dirty Davey Rackum.
Aye, and I be Iron Harry Reid on the main gun.
And I'm Mad Mary Madeline, and they don't call me mad for my temper.
Alrighty, we be talking about the different types of quests. If you want to be going to Booty Bay, you cannot be siding with the Blood Sail Buccaneers. Does anyone know why?
Because they're a bunch of pansies. They can't take the blood sails.
Anybody know the history of the Bloodsail Pirates?
Once upon a time, I did. Well, I did once.
We're prepared.
Booty Bay folks, which we know as the Goblins, they're the Blackwater Raiders. This other organization called the Bloodsail Buccaneers. In preparation for the attack, the Bloodsail Buccaneers have taken up position in key locations near the city. But you can get faction with the Bloodsail Buccaneers, but that means you're not going to be going into Booty Bay. There's some other things that they offer if you do get faction with those folks, the Bloodsail.
If you decide to be going the Bloodsail path, what you get, first of all, is you get the outfit. You got to look like a pirate. You get a nice pair of pirate pants, a nice pirate shirt, and a pirate sash. And when you finally get the quest to go kill the Baron and his sidekick, whatever his name is, I totally forgot. When you kill them, you then are officially crowned as someone who can be trusted to be a Bloodsail Admiral. What more can you want? You also, from doing that, you take your hat, you put it on your head, proud to be your sailor, proud to have your title that you get for the achievement, and then you get your parrot, a very special parrot that only comes out when you dare to wear the hat.
It be Fleet Master Seahorn, I heard.
Is that... I'm terrible at this, but I'm going to do it anyway.
Oh, this is great.
The organization be Bloodsail Pirates. Are there other organizations that you can belong to in the boundaries of Azeroth?
That are pirates? No, none at all. But it is possible, even though many people don't think about it, it is very possible to be both a Bloodsail pirate, respected and loved by the pirate community, and also tolerated by the goblins because they know not to fear with you. There are ways.
And how be the way?
The ways of the weird ways of being friends with Booty Bay so they know that they should never screw with a good real pirate. The ways of doing that are... Oh, let me keep talking while I try to think. Okay.
I think we should all go into a round of yo-ho, a pirate's life for me.
Yo-ho, a pirate's life for me.
Life for me.
We pillage, we plunder, we... Something, we
something. Blunder. And...
Drink up me hearties, yo-ho.
Maybe we should look up the lyrics first.
Okay, so...
All right,
pirates don't need lyrics.
We just make them up as we go along.
Would you like to hear about how to regain friendly stature or grind it?
That'd be great.
What you need to be doing is find a goblin that doesn't mind who you're working for. And that goblin would be in Feralas on the coast, if you know what I'm saying. He's like, oh, I'm experimenting with some gadgets and gizmos. So what you do, you go up to him and he's I don't care if you're a pirate. None at all. You work with me, I'll get you good with everyone else. There's also a poor little goblin that's stuck in Dire Mole. If you help him out, he'll give you a good word too. And those are the only two ways to keep friendly with the pirates and to make sure that you are a Bloodsail Buccaneer who can get around in Booty Bay with no problem.
The history of Booty Bay. Booty Bay is a large pirate city nestled in the cliffs surrounding the beautiful lagoon of the southern tip of Stranglethorn Vale. The city is entered by traveling through the bleached white jaws of giant shark. The port offers facilities to any travelers passing through regardless of their faction, whether they be pirates or not. Combined with the world's renowned Salty Tailor Tavern. Ooh, the best grog around. Arr! It's one of the most popular locations in Azeroth. So that'd be the history of Booty Bay. Arr.
Just a little too many R's.
I don't know how to be talking like a pirate. I'm working on it. I'm trying. Everybody's gonna think we're totally out of our minds, and we are.
Having fun.
Now that we've talked a little bit about the pirates and we're getting that whole
piratey thing down, and they're celebrating Talk Like a Pirate Day, and then they're going to have some costumes that you could be turned into, probably how they did the transformation wands at Halloween. If you had a guild that you wanted to do something, I remember a time we actually did celebrate Talk Like a Pirate. In fact, we had the entire guild talking like pirates in guild chat, and then we had everybody meet together at one of the ships, and we actually had everybody sitting around on the top deck, and everyone was wearing a pirate shirt. We had a fire going. People told stories. We even had 2 people do a Errol Flynn movements.
They had a duel up in the rafters on the lines.
So we had a troll and a human doing or I guess it was a night elf maybe, up on one of the wires that went all the way up there. They were dueling all the way up that with rapiers. So that's one event. What other kinds of things can people do in role play to celebrate this Talk Like a Pirate? Arr.
Yes, Miss Turner. Having a party aboard a ship would be a good suggestion. Guild meetings, there's plenty of them. There's one that's parked right over by Ratchet. I think that's the one we actually had the get together at. And it's easy to get on board, and there's nobody around there. So it's a great place to have a pirate themed party. There are several bars and taverns around that you can do the same sort of thing at. Booty Bay comes to mind, but that's generally very crowded. So if you want just like a guild party, someplace more private where you could have your own people coming and not have a bunch of walk-ins, then one of the scattered ships is parked around the shores of Azeroth would be a great suggestion for it.
Arr. Mad Mary, you've been talking about Deadmines.
I'm not even gonna try to do the accent. Seriously, at the end of Deadmines, it's not really a place that you would expect it. You actually go into an area, you actually blow open a few doors with cannons and cannonballs, and you finally get to the end section where underneath in a cavern, there's a boat. I'm pretty sure that almost everybody here has at least done the Deadmines at least once, probably multiple times.
Oh, yeah.
And in that section, there's actually a ton of Defias pirates. Most notable is a Tauren named Smite, I guess. And then there's also, once you get past him...
Cookie.
Oh, Cookie. Yes, Cookie the pirate, but he's afterwards.
It's a Murloc.
He is a Murloc. He replaced a previous Cookie. They just named him after the previous cook. And actually, I think, you can get a parrot from him if you kill him.
He drops a rolling pin. I think he also drops a staff.
I think so.
It's a wand.
It's a piratey wand.
You short staff.
Of course, you fight Edwin Van Cleef at the very end of it, but it's just interesting how even though they're not a major pirate faction unto themselves, the Defias actually do kind of go into that little bit of that pirating business, it looks like.
The interesting thing about that whole dungeon, those 2 huge doors that you see how they would get their ship inside of there, actually do exist outside of that. If you are over in the troll area, specifically, I guess it's the southeastern side of Stranglethorn Vale in that cove, it's the Zandalar Island.
I'm trying to remember a particular quest near South Shore where there's a selection of pirate ships parked in a bay up there where you have to get up on the ship and you fire the cannons on approaching the Naga that are attacking.
That's Faldir's Cove, lad. Faldir's Cove in Arathi Highlands.
Yeah, as far as the cove there, that cove can be found 2 ways. It's right between the edge of the wetlands and the Arathi Highlands. You can actually get there if you're facing Stromgard. If you take the left side, if you're facing it, you go around the left side. There's actually a little cove that leads to a cave. You go down the cave, and it goes down to the coast, and it's a short swim over. The other way is to just swim around the edge there at the wetlands, and eventually you'll hit the cove. Unfortunately, that's the only ways in there at the moment. It does have quite a few quests, and it's a nice little place.
Pirate terms, ahoy means hello. Avast means stop and give attention. There's a bilge rat. There's bunghole. There's grog, which is the best drink on the planet. There's hornpipe, and there's lubber. There's landlubbers. Arr. And smartly. Do something quickly. Arr, smartly, me lass. If anybody wants to talk more like a pirate, there's talklikeapirate.com, which also has a translator on there, and some of y'all are laughing.
Bilge rat is the lowest of the low as far as jobs on a ship. Basically, the person has to scrounge around the bilge and clean it up and make sure there aren't any breaks in the hull. And the bilge is usually where urine and all kinds of other things collect up, as well as seawater and brine. So if someone's the bilge rat, then they're the scumbag of the ship with the worst job.
That's better than being a bunghole.
Bunghole is the captain's attendant.
Does anybody know of any guilds within Azeroth or in roleplay that do play pirates?
Feyrock.
Dark Heart of Azeroth.
Dark Heart of Azeroth, welcome aboard! Ours RP Raid Guild of the oldest communities of Earthen Ring server. Arr.
Hey, plug for Dark Heart of Azeroth.
They have been around a very long time, and they're a pirate guild. It says the Dark Heart is our ship, and Feyrock is your captain. If you have come to raid and pillage, you have come to the right place. So they do have a focus that's more pirate in nature. If people are looking for a formal group of players that are more centered around a pirate theme, that's one that happens to be on Earthen Ring.
Welcome to Ria's Corner for the Well-Dressed RPer. This week we have a special on pirates. So, yar mateys, let's get started. The most important thing for a pirate is their shirt. I mean, the pants and the shoes, you can kind of go with any plain pants. But the shirts have to have a special piratey flair to them. So let's think about a few of them here that's in game. The Halaskan jacket is a black jacket. It widens out at the wrist, and it's got some embroidery on it, and it's really nice and official looking. It kind of has a little bit of flavor to your character. Other items that you can actually have are things like the Buccaneer's vest or the Corsair shirt, which look really good with the common white shirt or the white swashbuckler shirt underneath. And the swashbuckler shirt, there's a red and a black one as well, which makes it really nice. Also, looking at the crimson silk vest and the twill vest, it looked really good on top of those shirts. As far as robes, there are a couple of robes that actually look a little bit piratey and actually are named for the pirates, such as the Buccaneer's robes. There's also the Journeyman's robes and the simple dress. They all have a very simple white blouse and a different colored skirt. Not really anything that special, but if you want to kind of keep in with the same idea, they do work very well. As far as legs go, to go with the first top that I mentioned, the Halaskan, there's the Halaskan pantaloons, and they match really well. But really, cloth pants, you just match up to the top. Whatever seems to fit with the top you've chosen, they can be fairly nondescript. Although it's really nice to have the ones that kind of, if they balloon out a little bit, you can use those and it's really, really nice. Again, with the boots, the higher boots with the wider top are very good, such as the Highlander's cloth boots. It's a matter of personal preference on the boots. Hats. There's a couple of really, really nice hats in game that you can get. The Admiral's hat, the Bloodcell Admiral's hat, the First Mate hat are all very seaworthy hats. And then if you also want to play the pirate that has the missing eye, there's some good eye patches as well. Forer's eye patch, Malefactor's eye patch, Netherstorm eye patch, Swashbuckler's eye patch, and those are just to name a few. There's a couple more. As far as things such as weapons, weapons are, again, another iconic piece to the pirate. The traditional sword that you see them with is the rapier. There's several rapiers in game. There's the Defias rapier, Adamantite rapier, and a few others. Really, just stick with the rapiers. If you have another sword preference, you can say that you maybe got it off of a ship that you boarded or something. As far as other weapons, distance weapons, Blunderbuss is also known as kind of the iconic shooting weapon for pirates. A couple of good ones are like the cheap blunderbuss, the old blunderbuss, the solid blunderbuss. I think a lot of these can be bought at like the gun merchants and whatnot. You might want to take a look at Wowhead, look up blunderbuss, and you might be able to find some of the information on them. Also, pets. Come on, what pirate doesn't have a parrot? At least the captain of the ship has a parrot. Accessories. You can accessorize however you want, but there's a couple of items that I thought would be particularly useful. One of those is the ornate spyglass. It's actually usable in-game. On use, you can see further distances, which is kind of neat. There's also a couple of quest items that you could use as props. One of them's called the Weathered Treasure Map, and the other one's called the Nautical Map. Both of them are kind of useful and in the same piratey theme, either treasure or nautical in some fashion. Now, my favorite part of this is the last little prop that you can really have. It's the Pirate's Grog, pirate's favorite drink. And I was looking it up, and we have everything from cherry grog for the ladies to Gordok green grog and regular Gordok grog. To close this up, I hope that you really enjoy Pirates Day and have a ton of fun.
Hi there, this is Michael, also known as Anansi, here to talk about role-playing a goblin, or RPing how you might interact with the little green guys and girls. Before I get into any further explanation, I wanted to describe some quotes from WoWWiki. Here's the first one I wanted to read to you. Quote, "Goblins are not purely mercenary. They are known to form strong bonds with individuals of other races. Their small forms and odd behavior makes other races, elves in particular, ill at ease. But goblins do not seem to care much for the impressions they make. They judge by deeds, befriending those who treat them as friends and standing apart from those who would offer them abuse." End quote. And my other quote from WoWWiki, quote, "Goblins are intelligent and they use their brains in battle, confuse the enemy and the enemy leaves blind spots, slip in between the cracks and break the forces open from the inside." End quote. What do these two quotes reveal to me and hopefully to you, the listener, as well? Goblins are highly intelligent and deviously cunning. But, much like the old school orcs and the new orcs, I'm not talking about the orcs who fought with a fell-tainted bloodlust powering them, they value honor and are fiercely loyal. Supposedly, long time ago, some jungle trolls used them as slaves to dig up a special type of ore known as kajemite, which had a strange side effect of giving goblins their great intelligence and creativity. If you're familiar with the Warcraft games or even the goblins in Storm Peaks, then you know about the goblin sappers who strap on belts of dynamite and blow themselves up to destroy their foes. From everything I've read, goblins are very similar in many ways to gnomes and their love of inventions, but different in that gnomes like talking about great inventions almost as much as they like making the devices, while goblins are more into the desire to create and build. So much so, they sometimes forget to check the blueprints, which causes their inventions to blow up in glorious ways. And nothing says boom like a goblin explosive device. What does all this mean for someone wanting to roleplay a goblin? Goblins are brilliant and crafty. They found they could control more with money than via force, but they are never afraid to use force if necessary. Some of their racials they receive are all about money. They always get the best price possible anywhere that they spend their gold, and time is money, friend. Well, actually it's called time is money. They get increase in speed in their fighting and casting. I imagine goblins took on the world of commerce because it is very much like pitting one person's mind and will against another to get the best deal. Another thing to think about is their honor and loyalty. If someone treats a goblin well, that goblin will stand by that person and pay back the kindness they received. It could be the reason why your goblin character is tight with your guild. That guild showed them kindness to you when others weren't as nice to them. Supposedly, goblin sailing ships have some of the most devastating weaponry in all of Azeroth on them because of pirates and other dangerous creatures that live and patrol in the seas. And this gets to the part about goblins and pirates. The great goblin trade princes are, in many ways, pirates themselves. Look at the Booty Bay Buccaneers, who are part of the Steamweedle cartel. They're a group of pirates who have joined together with the cartel, and the Bloodsail pirates directly oppose them, and why? Because it is a pirate war, in my opinion. Almost anywhere you look for pirates, you'll find some goblins involved, or some goblins fighting against them. Since goblins are a seafaring race, It is very possible to roleplay having been a pirate captain or a member of a pirate crew. You could have been a former legitimate sailor or worked the docks. You also could have been a former merchant in charge of a powerful bank or household. From what I've discovered about goblin inventions, you could even play up the steampunk angle with your goblin. You could easily be a great goblin inventor or alchemist who was on the verge of making a great discovery before the volcano erupted and caused everyone to flee Kazan. You could roleplay being a former member of the Steamweedle cartel who was never on Kazan, who just chose to join the Horde after having so many people attack you in the name of the Bloodsail Pirates. Another option could be a former venture company employee who decided to go straight. As for how the Horde races will view goblins, the orcs have fought alongside goblins and have enjoyed their friendship over the years. Thanks to goblin zeppelins, the Horde has been able to travel long distances. There's always been a level of great respect between the two green-skinned races. As for trolls, they should be fine with most trolls since it was in ancient times that the jungle trolls used them as slaves, but that was long, long ago in the past. Now, most goblins and trolls will probably treat each other with the respect they give each other. With the Forsaken, though, I can see a great number of Forsaken alchemists wanting to learn from the brilliant goblins, while the goblins might share their knowledge with some friendly undead. Otherwise, they'll treat them just as they're being treated themselves. As stated in the WoW Wiki entry I quoted above, I can see the Blood Elves being rather uncomfortable around the leering green little guys. Their odd behavior is something that puts the haughty Blood Elves ill at ease. As for the goblins, I don't think they really care much about what the other races think about them. Just don't screw with them and they'll treat you decently. Treat them well and they'll treat you well. The one race that might or might not have issues with them on the Horde side are the Tauren, all due to the venture company's deforestation and pollution of the lands. I imagine most Tauren might be fine with them, but otherwise some Tauren could roleplay having a feeling of unease with how little regard goblins have for the environment or the destruction of things. Now we come to the Alliance's stance on goblins. Many of the races might feel that their distrust in the little green men and women was well placed when they come across goblins working and fighting as official parts of the Horde. Other Alliance people might be taken aback due to the former and still active neutrality of the Steamweedle cartel. Much like Tauren, the Night Elves might have some serious issues with goblins due to the same reasons, their disregard for pollution and the venture company's destruction of the environment in the name of gold. Also remember, it's goblin shredders that are used to destroy the great forests of Ashenvale. I imagine the goblins who went through the goblin starter area of the Lost Isles will have a severe dislike of the Alliance who attacked their ship and, accidentally, freed them from the fate of being a slave. But, supposedly, the Alliance fleet also landed on the islands to kill anyone, Horde or Goblin, they come across. I'll leave you with one last quote about the piratey race of goblins taken from the WoW Wiki. Goblins breed like rabbits. Such is the case with Tanaris, where goblins outnumber the native Sandfury trolls. And the only reason, supposedly, that goblins don't outmatch the Horde and Alliance in population is because goblins often blow themselves up. End quote. So here's a quote that I came up with, which I think really describes goblins. Live fast, die young, and leave a green-skinned little corpse behind. That could be their motto. Until next time, have fun with your role-playing.
Hello everyone, this is Stardancer, and this is Off the Beaten Path. The topic for this sightseeing guide is places inside of Azeroth that have piratey themes. The first place is Ratchet. The South Sea freebooters led by Baron Longshore are a small fleet of goblin and other races of pirates who live along the coast of the Barrens and in the free port of Ratchet. These scoundrels are just one of a number of pirates who roam the trade routes from Darkshore to Theramore in search of fortune and plunder. Lost Rigger Cove. This group of South Sea pirates is led by Andre Firebrand and is a small criminal pirate organization located mainly in southern Kalimdor. You can reach their hidden cove by heading southeast along the shoreline in Tanaris and head through a cave which opens out into their cove. South Shore. South Shore's small privateer fleet keeps the waterways clear, allowing ships to dock at the town's harbor and keep the economy strong. Bloodsail Hold. Although we don't see Plunder Island within the game, the WoW RPG states that this is the home of the Bloodsail Buccaneers, led by Duke Falrevere. The Duke originally was a Lordaeron noble and takes residence in the fortress when he's not out leading his pirates in a battle against the merchant ships or the Blackwater Raiders. The Bloodcell Buccaneers are currently at odds with the Blackwater Raiders and the Steam Needle Cartel, who currently rule Booty Bay in southern Stranglethorn Vale. That leads us to Booty Bay. Booty Bay is a large pirate city in the southern tip of Stranglethorn Vale. The township is headed by Baron Revelgaz. The Blackwater Raiders closely work with the Goblin Steam Needle Cartel and are a loose affiliation of pirates, privateers, and traders that operate out of Booty Bay. The Blackwater Raiders are arch rivals of the Bloodcell Buccaneers, another pirate group that is vying for control of Stranglethorn Vale. Deadmines and the Defias Brotherhood. The Defias Brotherhood are an evil group of assassins and thieves and pirates that are hostile to the Alliance. They were once artisans and engineers who were sent in exile for demanding payment for their work to restore Stormwind. The group was rallied together and led by an engineer named Edwin Van Cleef. The Defias Brotherhood have a secret stronghold on their huge ship, which is located in a large cavern called Deadmines underneath Westfall off the southwestern coast of Eastern Kingdoms. The Dread Corsairs. These pirates are currently visiting and are led by Dread Captain DeMeza. The setup is in Booty Bay for September 19th to help celebrate the Talk Like a Pirate Day. Scalawag Point is an island located off the southeastern shoreline in Howling Fjord, Northrend. The area is dominated by the North Sea freebooters led by Jonah Sterling. This group of pirates began looting from graves in other areas and are at odds with both the Alliance and the Horde. Faldir's Cove. This is a small natural harbor on the southwestern shores of Arathi Highlands near the Drowned Wreath. And according to WoW Wiki, an expedition of Blackwater Raiders led by Captain Steelgut was sent to this land in search of elven treasure. Due to the mysterious tide caused by the Nagas guarding the sunken ruins, 2 of the 3 ships sunk. The 3rd ship, Harbinger, landed safely on the shore. However, its crew was trapped in the bay until some adventurers agreed to fight the Nagas and retrieve the navigation logs off the sunken ships. This leads to a very interesting quest where you can shoot the cannons to stave off the Naga attack. Steam Weedle Port. This port, just off the coast of Tanarus, was first built to receive the materials for the construction of the town Gadgetson. This port is directly connected to Undermine, but at this point in the game, it's not scheduled for any passenger ships to dock. Here are some ships that you can board while you're in-game. There are 2 ships docked in Ratchet. There's a ship that's docked in Menethil Harbor. And if you're Alliance, you could host an event on the Feathermoon Ferry, which travels around the island back and forth. There's also the Turtle Ship in South Northrend, and several ships which are permanently docked in the Stormwind Harbor. So that gives you some ideas to celebrate Talk Like a Pirate Day. Until next time, this is Stardancer, heading off the path.
Beached, a short story by Harper Sylvan. The taste of brine, sand, and worse covered his tongue. Sunlight stung his eyes even through his tightly closed lids, and Carver finally attempted to raise his head. The pounding surf crashed in time with the throb of his head as he forced his eyes open. Carver peered about blearily. Where was his ship? Where was he? He patted himself down with practiced caution. All 4 limbs and wee little toes were present. Carver gave a sigh of relief and a muttered curse as well. His flintlock and saber were gone. Digging past the cuff of his boot, he drew out a slender blade and slipped it into his belt and easy reach. He pulled his large-brimmed hat from the sand, slapping it against his leg a few times before setting it at a slight angle atop his head. Peering about, Carver saw neither crewmen or wreckage strewn across the pale, pristine sand, and cursed again. He strained to recall the night before, but could not even recall the week before. Somewhere in the distance, a bell chimed. Its silvery peal struck a strangely familiar note, and memory flooded back. The deck heaved under Carver's feet as the Merc Thresher broke through a swell, sending white spray over the gunwales. Ahead, the billowy gray and green sails of the fat merchantman promised full purses for his eager crew. The Thresher was leaning hard, her sails full as she steadily overtook the trader. "Shorten sail and ready the port guns and bow chasers," Carver shouted. And at his word, dozens of barefooted crewmen darted about the deck in well-drilled chaos. Captain Carver climbed the small ladder and stepped onto the deck of the forecastle. 8 sailors were currently loading the 2 forward-mounted cannons. Carver watched the merchantmen slightly alter course in an attempt to desperately catch enough wind to keep them ahead of the Thresher. They had to have seen his colors and know they had no chance of outrunning him. Carver's reputation as a privateer was also not a bloodthirsty one. He wanted coin and leisure, not body counts. Why doesn't he heave too, Carver thought. What is he carrying that is worth risking his crew for? Steadily, the Thresher closed the distance, and still the trader did not strike its colors or cut sail. Numerous figures could be seen on the distant deck mulling about. Tugging on his neatly trimmed beard thoughtfully, Captain Carver nodded to the gunner watching him intently. Put one close enough to mark that pretty paint, Kip. Aye, sir, the gunner answered, as his team heaved up the bronze barrel to set the range. A moment later, Kip pulled a length of burning slow match from his belt pouch and touched it to the priming pan. The bow chaser roared like an enraged dragon, launching a 9-pound iron ball that splashed into the water only a few yards from the fleeing trader. Long moments passed, but the trader still did not slow or show signs of surrender. I don't think we could have made the point any clearer, men, Carver said simply. Gun crews, ready the first broadside. With a deafening roar, the Merc Thresher unleashed her broadside. Choking powder smoke filled the air as 8 cannon and 3 swivel-mounted guns known as wolves fired almost simultaneously. The stern of the merchantman exploded in a deadly shower of splinters. Bodies flew about like crude broken dolls, and the whole of the large trader shuddered from the impact. Reload! Carver's voice echoed like a clarion over the silence that followed their first broadside, while across the short span of water separating the two vessels, the trader's crew silently and inexplicably regained their feet. The merchantman at last altered course. Turning impossibly against the wind, it now bore down upon the Merc Thresher. Fire! Carver shouted, unable to keep the note of dread from his voice as the Thresher sent forth a second deadly volley of round shot and grape into the teeth of the oncoming trader. Then the two ships collided. Carver held fast to the fore braces as the bone-jarring impact tossed his crew across the deck. The prow of the merchantman loomed above him, embedded into the port side of the doomed Thresher. The trader no longer resembled the fine prize it had seen from afar. Now, within reach, it appeared a scuttled wreck, as if it had been lying on the ocean bottom for years. Prepare to repel boarders! He cried over the rising tide of horror he could see in the men around him. The crew of the trader swarmed down from their nightmarish ship, walking corpses from the trackless depths, bloated bodies trailing brine behind them as they overwhelmed the panicked freebooters. Carver stared with rising dread clutching at his heart, and dove over the gunwale and into the deep. A silvery chime sounded from behind him, and a voice, almost like a whisper in his ear, spoke. You and yours are mine. There is no escape. Captain Carver swam on into the night, terror lending him strength. The silvery chime echoed again across the shore, and Carver dropped to his knees as the trader drifted into view. His own crew began stumbling out of the surf, their lifeless eyes fixed upon him. They had come to collect him. You and yours are mine, the voice echoed again.
Yar, this be Dirty Davey, and today we be talking about piratey things. You know, things you do as a pirate.
Hi, this is Brent. Today I want to talk about Talk Like a Pirate Day coming up. What are you going to do? How are you going to get in character to get your yar on? Basically, some things to kind of, get the flavor in and really just do something really cool. First, I want to talk about how to get into character for your pirate. I'm going to start with the movies. Movies are probably your more instant type of solution to that sort of thing. And I want to go back in the DeLorean, way back to like 1926 to start off with The Black Pirate, and that starred Douglas Fairbanks. In 1940, we have Errol Flynn movies. Great actor, lots of great stuff in here, classic stuff. Next, Against All Flags, which also starred Errol Flynn and Maureen O'Hara. We also have Treasure Island that's around the time. You have the books and then you have the movies. I want to go slightly back to something that gets missed, and that is the movie Nate and Hayes. I love this movie. Tommy Lee Jones, yes. Michael O'Keefe, playing, basically this is kind of based on the story of William Bully Hayes. Very good turn-of-the-century style pirate movie. More recently, we have, of course, Pirates of the Caribbean flicks. That's in 2003. You have Captain Jack Sparrow, played by Johnny Depp. But what I'm saying is, there's all this stuff. Everyone kind of thinks, oh, it's just, I'll just do Captain Jack, And it's like, no. There's a lot of stuff that's been done in the past that you can draw from. You also realize that pirates, not necessarily, were always on the wrong end of the law. They were also privateers. Pirating is, been glamorized in the movies, and you can do some similar things in game. There's nothing to stop you really from finding props, costuming. Even your gray items can be really cool stuff to dress up as a pirate for an event or for what have you. You can have your more rustic variety. You can have your more educated and, turn to the life of crime thing. You can do the whole thing. And so there's the spectrum that you can do. Where to have a pirate event, if you really wanted to get into the whole pirate event. There's 2 boats in Theramore. One is a empty ship. The other one has some mobs on there that will attack you. But if you want to set up a privateer outfit, good place. The Stormwind Dock, perfect vehicle. You have different boats for all kinds of stuff. You can actually set up a thriving port community if a lot of you got together in your RP community and wanted to dedicate like an alt, or have some of your existing characters which you really don't have a purpose for them yet. They could be living a life at the docks, and you can actually have a nice community there. Near Gadgetzan, you have Steamweedle Port, you have the whole coastline. And I'll tell you one nice place, the docks over at Steamweedle. There's no ship, of course, at least not yet. You never know what the devs will do. But nice little place to have a party. You can also go, like I said, down the coast. You have Beachline, you have the blue water, you have all that stuff. And actually in the distance, you may see some ships fighting, a battle going on. So it kind of adds to the flair. One little place I love, which is a small little island just off the coast. You gotta go a little bit past Lost Rigger Cove, and it's a little island, 2 trees, a hammock. Oh man, I love this. He even has a gnome. I'm not really sure exactly what the point of the gnome is there, but hey, it could be fun. It's a nice party island that you could have. The thing I would mention is there's a few high-level elite mobs around that area right now, so just be careful if you scout it out. Now, one thing you have to realize, and this goes with any event, you have to make it accessible for whatever levels that you're inviting. And now a lot of it takes some preparation. You either have to get a warlock in there to summon people in or escort people. However you want to manage it that's easier is fine. You have these places that you can go. Anywhere where there's a beach, water, that screams possible pirate stuff, Booty Bay, there's a whole area behind there where the ships are. There's actually 3 ships. There are pirate ships. There's a quest line involving the pirates there in Booty Bay as well. One overlooked location is the Cannon Nest. At least that's my name for it. What that is a nest of cannons which guard the port area of Booty Bay. It's just past the auction house and the bank. If you get on the roof where the party's going to be at on Talk Like a Pirate Day, and you jump behind there, move around the coast, or swim around, you'll notice that there is a platform set up with cannons. That's the place. It's a nice out-of-the-way place. The Salty Sailor, of course, and all the little buildings and stuff in Booty Bay, perfect locations for in-character organizations or RP or what have you. So you have those areas to use.
You have been listening to Hearthstone Tavern Roleplay Podcast, highlighting the RP and MMORPG.